ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरे नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto second, chapter second, the Lord in the Heart, Shloka number 27. न यत्र शोक न जरा न मृत्युः
न यत्र शोकः न जरा न मृत्युः
न आर्तिः न च उद्वेगः ऋते कुतश्चित्
न आर्तिः न च उद्वेगरुते कुतचित्
यच्चित्तत् अधः कृपया इदं विदाम्
न यच्चित् तत उदा कृपया इदं विदाम्
अधः
अधः कृपया इदं विदान्
यच्चित्तत् ततः अधः कृपया अन इदं विदाम्
यच्चित्ततः अधः कृपया न इदं विदाम्
दुःख प्रभव अणुदर्शनात्
दुरंत दुःख प्रभव अनुदर्शनात्
न यत्र शोक न जरा न मृत्युः
न यत्र न शोक न जरा न मृत्यु
न आर्ति न च उद्वेगः ऋते कथचित्
न आर्तिः न
कुतश्चित्
च उद्वेगः ऋते कुतश्चित्
यच्चित्ततः अधः कृपया अन् इदं विदाम्
यच्चित्ततः अधः कृपया न इदं विदाम्
दुरन्त दुःख प्रभव अणुदर्शनात्
दुरंत दुःख प्रभवः अनुदर्शनात्
न यत्र शोक न जरा न मृत्युः
न
न
यत्
आर्ति न च न च आर्तिः न च उद्वेगः ऋते कुतश्चित् यच्चित्ततः अधः कृपया अन इदं विदाम् दुरन्त दुःख प्रभव अणुदर्शनात्.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhuji, you will like to read?
हरे कृष्ण
Yes, Prabhuji.
न यात हरे कृष्ण न यात्र तो जरा न मिथुर नदिर्न कट्वेगरिति कुत्रिच्छेदे यच्चित् तदा कृपयादं विदं धुरन्य दुःख प्रभवानु प्रभवानु दर्शन्ते.
Okay.
हरे कृष्ण.
न यत्र शोक न जरा न मृत्यु न अर्ति न च उद्वेगरुते कुतश्चित् यच्चित्त ततः अधः कृपया अनविदम् अन इदं विदाम दुरंत दुःख प्रभव अनुदर्शनात्.
Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. In that planet of Satyaloka, there is neither bereavement, nor old age, nor death. There is no pain of any kind, and therefore there are no anxiety, save that sometimes consciousness. There is a feeling of compassion for those unaware of the process of devotional service, who are subjected to unsurpassable miseries in the material world. Purport. Foolish men of materialistic temperament do not take advantage of successive authorized knowledge. The Vedic knowledge is authorized and is acquired not by experiment but by authentic statements of the Vedic literature explained by bona fide authorities. Simply by becoming an academic scholar, one cannot understand the Vedic statements. One has to approach the real authority who who has received the Vedic knowledge by disciplic succession, as clearly explained in the Bhagavad-gītā 4.2. Lord Krishna affirmed that the system of knowledge, as explained in the Bhagavad-gītā, was explained to the sun god, and the knowledge descended by disciplic succession from the sun god to his son Manu, and from Manu to King Ishwaku, the forefather of Lord Ramchandra. And thus, the system of knowledge was explained down the line of great sages, one after another. But in due course of time, the authorized succession was broken, and therefore, just to re-establish the true spirit of the knowledge, the Lord again explained the same knowledge to Arjuna, who was a bona fide candidate for understanding due to his being a pure devotee of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita, as it was understood by Arjuna, is also explained Bhagavad Gita 10.12 and 13. But there are many foolish men who do not follow in the footsteps of Arjuna in understanding the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. They create instead their own interpretation, which are as foolish as they themselves, and thereby only help to put a stumbling block on the path of real understanding, misdirecting the innocent followers who are less intelligent, or the Shudras. It is said that one should become a Brahmana before one can understand the Vedic statements, and this stricture is as important as the stricture that no one shall become a lawyer who has not qualified himself as a graduate. Stricture is not an impediment in the path of progress for anyone and everyone, but it is necessary for an unqualified understanding of a particular science. Vedic knowledge is misinterpreted by those who are not qualified Brahmanas. A qualified Brahmana is one who has undergone a strict training under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. The Vedic wisdom guides us to understanding our relation with the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and to acting accordingly in order to achieve the desired state of returning home back to Godhead. But materialistic men do not understand this. They want to make a plan to become happy in a place where there is no happiness. For false happiness, they try to reach other planets either by Vedic rituals or by spacecraft. But they should know for certain that any amount of materialistic adjustment for becoming happy in a place which is meant for distress cannot benefit the misguided man, because after all, the whole universe with all its paraphernalia will come to an end after a certain period. Then all plans of materialistic happiness will automatically come to an end. The intelligent person therefore makes a plan to return home back to Godhead. Such an intelligent person surpasses all the pangs of material existence like birth, death, disease, and old age. He is actually happy because he has no anxiety of material existence, but as a compassionate sys- system syst- sympathizer, compassionate sympathizer, he feels unhappiness for the suffering materialistic man, and thus he occasionally comes before the materialistic man to teach them the necessity of going back to Godhead. All the bona fide acharyas preach this truth of returning home back to Godhead and warn men not to make a false plan for happiness in a place where happiness is only a myth. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापयेत् स्थापितम् येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्विताञ्च ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। We continuing with Bhagavatam, 10th chapter 2, the Lord in the heart, shloka number 27. We try to understand what which points are describing in this shloka. Here they describe about the planet of Satyaloka, how their lifestyle, style there. They're describing about that, and who are subjected to unsurpassable miseries in the material world. They uh, were unaware of the process of devotional service. There is a feeling of compassionate for those who are unaware of the process of devotional service. Then here they describe about the materialistic temperament punishment. They do not take the advantage of the successive authorized knowledge which told us by the Vedic literature. Then in Bhagavad-gītā, uh, chapter 10, shloka 12 and 13, they describe about the foolish men who do not follow the footsteps of Arjuna to understand the spirit of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like so many uh, points they describe, Prabhuji will tell us in detail nicely. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhecha kripa sindhubhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavbhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. So, as we are seeing, it's a wonderful summarization of the Virat Roop of Lord that is being said. And then we are seeing the journey of a yogi back home, back to Godhead. So, yesterday we saw about having reached the Brahmaloka or Satyaloka stage. So, what we are seeing today are the characteristics or the features of Satyaloka. One of the most striking feature which we see here is that it is mentioned that there is no old age, no death, no bereavement, no pain of any kind, so no anxiety. But then, because of consciousness, there can still be feeling of compassion for those who don't know what is devotional service and who are still suffering for miseries in the material world. But as such, there is not going to be anything else which the residents out there are feeling. Now, when they say that there is no death, no old age, no bereavement, does it really mean that way? And the response is no. When it says that there is no death, what it means is till the whole world is annihilated, The residents are still there. Lord Brahmaji is still there. But at the Mahapralaya time, it is the end of the story. Now, there's so much of authorized knowledge which is available. But then we fail to take advantage. Ideally, the knowledge is authorized and it is available in the Vedic scriptures and it is explained by the bona fide authorities. We simply have to approach a guru and learn it because that is the ideal way, as was mentioned by Krishna to Arjuna. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarashayoho viduh sakale niha mahata yogena shta parantapa. So it said that the supreme science was thus restored through chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it that way. So we also need to follow the same system if we really wish to understand and if we really wish to implement. So there is a sense of duty if you are really desirous of returning back to Godhead. What is the purpose of life? The purpose of life definitely is returning back to Godhead. Whatever we are studying today or since couple of weeks, it's just showing us what the higher conditions are so that we pity and we regret our current situation where we are caught in this cycle of birth, old age, disease, death, which is never ending, it seems. But then Krishna has been so merciful, he has given the human form where it can be put to a stop. And that is where the Vedic guidance is important. It helps and it aims to help the souls understand relationship with Krishna. The material plans, whatever we make for happiness, including space travel or rituals, they are useless because the universe itself is temporary. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So the real intelligence lies in planning for liberation, not material enjoyment. And that is where we need to have the kartavya buddhi. A true devotee serves Krishna 24 by 7 under his direction or that of the spiritual master. Even Krishna may test you by difficulties, but that is to magnify our sense of duty. So, acting whimsically is not devotional service. See, there are so many scriptural references. In Bhagavatam itself, in first canto, 7th chapter, we understood that Krishna tests devotees like Arjuna to magnify their duty consciousness. In second chapter, we understood that occupational duties are useless if they don't attract one to Krishna Katha. We understood that all activities aim at inquiry into the absolute truth, Tattva Jitnyasa. And so we should not be using anything for material gain, for sense enjoyment. And then in 18th chapter, we understood that hearing and chanting Krishna's glories is everyone's primary duty. And that is something which Krishna has also said to us in Bhagavad-gītā, also in the 9th shloka of the 4th chapter. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvata tyaktva deham punarjanma nayeti mameti sa Arjuna. So very clearly it is mentioned that knowing Krishna's divine activities is only solution which will grant us liberation. So there are warnings against material life. The materialistic priorities of body, family, gadgets, they all end up in making us ignore the soul's needs. The mental speculators engage in philosophical gymnastics without realization. And sinful activities, meat eating, house slaughter, abortion, have severe reaction. And if they are committed in India, very severe reactions because India is Dharma Bhumi. The law of nature is very clear regarding the sufferings. What obstacles we have are simply lust, anger, greed, and illusion. Lagi. So lagi should be removed to bring about lagi aisi lagan that we should have. The bondage, the longingness for Krishna now, not lust, anger, greed, and illusion. Maya has been specifically given the duty to keep us forgetful of Krishna, and being a energy of Krishna, she will never surpass that duty. माया मुग्ध जीवेर नाही स्वतः कृष्ण ज्ञान जीवेर कृपया कैला Krishna Veda Purana. So this comes in the Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, 20th chapter. The conditioned soul cannot revive his Krishna consciousness by his own effort, but out of causeless mercy, Krishna compiled the Vedic literature and its supplements, the Puranas. So we have to start using it. Because if we don't, then suffering follows sense gratification. Like gravity, we know the apple falls down. It is a law. So similarly, it is a law. The moment you are having sense gratification, there's going to be a suffering. And then there is cycle of karma and duties. Like we talk about the occupational cycle, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Repeated sufferings. Or when we waste time in activities which are disconnected from Krishna. So again make us bonded. So what is important is the art of work. And what is the art of work? That every activity should be connected with Krishna. And that is why we need to understand Gita as explained to Arjuna and arrive at conclusions like Arjuna. In Gita, in 18th chapter, if we see, the instructions are very, very clear for all of us. सर्व कर्माणि अपि सदा कुर्वाणः मद व्यप आश्रयः मत प्रसादात अवाप्नोति शाश्वतम padam avyayam. Krishna says, though engaged in calls of all kinds of activities, my pure devotee under my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. See, engaged in all activities. Still, if you are a devotee and if you get grace of Krishna, चेतसा सर्वकर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः बुद्धियोगम उपाश्रित्य मच्चित्तः सततम भव. And in all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional, be fully conscious of me. So Krishna has told us what is required. And it is not that Krishna has told and we have not understood. Like in first loka, he says, you engage in Krishna's protection, then you can reach Krishna Loka. And second Loka, it is saying ki if we act under Krishna's direction like a servant, there is no independence. But even if Krishna is not present, we have to follow his instructions via Guru Parampara. So we should act only according to order of spiritual master. This ensures perfection. Arjuna reached that conclusion. Arjuna says in Bhagavad-gītā, Arjuna uvacha परम ब्रह्म परम धाम पवित्रम परमम भवान पुरुषम शाश्वतम दिव्यम आदिदेवम अजम विभुम आहुत्वाम ऋषयः सर्वे देवऋषि नारदः तथा असितः देवलः व्यासः स्वयं च एव ब्रवीषि मे. So Arjuna said, you are the supreme personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, unborn, greatest, and all great sages such as Narada, Asit, Deval, Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. So we need to follow the Guru. The Guru has an important role in our life. A bona fide spiritual master's order is one's highest duty. Look at Prabhupada's response to order by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ji, where he said, go and preach in the Western world. And where he said, even if you get so many print books. And Prabhupada ji did the same thing. And then when he had an interaction with Jayapataka Maharaj, he outlines the 14 principles of devotional success. So the test of devotion is going to be there. Difficulties are Krishna's test to refine our sincerity. You should not be afraid of hardships. The reaction for devotees comes fast. For non-devotees, it may come lifetimes later. So true advancement means detachment from sense enjoyment, dedication to Krishna's service. So when today we are seeing the importance of Satyaloka, we need to understand that if Satyaloka has such greatness, how much better it would be if we can go even beyond that. And for that we have action points. We need to prioritize our daily hearing and chanting. It has to become a priority. Secondly, we need to constantly reflect on Krishna's instructions and apply them. So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and told us, Jare Dekha Tare Ka Krishna Updesh, we need to ask ourselves before going to bed, how much have we contributed to the spreading of Krishna consciousness movement? How many lectures we have forwarded? How many people we have made join the WhatsApp groups and maybe attend the lectures? Thirdly, we have to act only under the guidance of our spiritual authorities. So Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, they are there to guide us. They are there to take us along on the right path, handhold all the way. We need to have faith in them. Reject whimsical service and materialistic distractions. And most importantly, embrace challenges as opportunities to grow spiritually. It is then and then only that we can be in a position to please Krishna. Otherwise, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi is always there. So let us not get into those things again now. All the bona fide acharyas, they are preaching the truth of returning home back to Godhead. And they are warning not to make false plan for happiness in a place where happiness is only a myth. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.